Hey Internet, Eric here again. And if you've been watching my videos recently, I'm finally here to just get it out of the way, I'm finally going to have my movie review of 12 Rounds with John Cena. Now, this is my third attempt to make this video, or third attempt to have actually watched the film, because there you go, freeze frame, okay, nothing special. If you saw my last Master Shit Theater, I was letting the movie load. Told you guys that, my Master Shit Theater story. And then I watched the film, and by the time it was done loading, I was far too drunk to finish the film, so I said I'll do it another time. And then I had a video I done about my reaction to the new Ghostbusters trailer. I mentioned how I'm going to watch John Cena in 12 rounds. And once again, I was far too drunk by the time it was loading, to do the review. And I just couldn't find the right stream to stream this video, or to stream this movie. So finally I watched the fucking thing, and now I can finally tell people what I thought about it. And it's not worth all the trouble I went to watch this film. Little backstory, I'm a huge wrestling fan if you haven't seen any of my videos before. And John Cena is probably one of the biggest superstars of the world right now. You either love him or you don't. Me personally, I don't hate him personally. I don't really give a shit that he's basically the Hulk Hogan of the new millennium. The only reason why I didn't care too much for him is because he was basically crammed down our throats at every fucking moment. And of course, when WWE films got started, they created all these movies. John Cena was their poster boy, so they gave him a movie career. And one of the movies he did was 12 Rounds. Now, 12 Rounds is basically Die Hard with a Vengeance, but less fun. And I'll tell you why. The plot goes as follows. John Cena is a police officer, and the FBI had just fucked up. Okay, they were going to catch this huge terrorist, wonderfully played by Aidan Gillen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but he plays Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. Wonderfully cast. He is fantastic. The FBI are trying to set him up so they can capture him. Shit fucks up. He escapes, and John Cena, he's wrong place, wrong time, because he's the cop there, in the neighborhood, tries to help stop and capture Aidan Gillen, and inadvertently causes the death of Aidan's girlfriend. A year later, Aidan, I'm just going to call him Aidan Gillen because I can't think of his fucking character's name. Anyways, and Aidan breaks out of prison, kidnaps John Cena's girlfriend, and basically is making him play this little version of cat and mouse. I'm going to give you 12 rounds, or 12 things you must do to see your girlfriend alive again. That's basically it. It's like I said, it's Die Hard with a Vengeance. Now, first off, I went in this with a clear head. My oversaturation of John Cena was put to the side. Didn't care. And it starts off, and I see it's directed by Renny Harlin. So, good. Huge Renny Harlin fan. Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. All fun movies that I've seen of his. I've heard Cutthroat Island was horrible, but I didn't care. I still want to see it. And I think he did Long Kiss Goodnight, which I heard is fantastic. I could be wrong on that, though. Anyway, I like Renny Harlin, okay? So this could be good. And Renny Harlin does a fantastic job shooting this film. The action scenes are top-notch. I mean, the action scenes are on the edge of your seat. They're really, really, really well done. A lot of the action scenes just, hits you hard. Some of it's out of nowhere. Like the scene where Aidan Gillen's girlfriend is killed comes out of nowhere. I mean, I know, that's the plot. She's going to die, and to get the rest of the film going. But when she is killed, it's just bam, holy shit. And I didn't expect it at all, at that time. And it's filmed wonderfully. There's a lot of scenes he does well. There's a scene where John Cena has to commandeer a fire truck to get from one place to another. And it's the way he films and the way it's cut and the way the score is thrown in. Very, very intense. Very edge of your seat. So Renny Harlin, you did great, buddy. I'm praising Aidan Gillen as the villain. This dude is so charismatic, okay? And he's very, very wicked. They do a very good job in the beginning when they're explaining who he is, talking about how bad, how evil he is. They say he beheaded his own brother because he fucked up one of their plans. Very, very charismatic. He's really, especially when you hear just his voice on the phone, and he's taunting John Cena. So it's really well done. One of my favorite scenes is you actually see Aidan on screen, and he is in, I believe, the hotel room where he has John Cena's girlfriend captured. She's tied up and gagged and whatever, and she's laying on the bed, and he's walking around the bed talking to John Cena, just nonchalantly, like it's another day in the office. And then as he's telling John Cena what to do, he literally just plops down on the bed, lays on his stomach, puts his feet up in the air, like he's relaxing, and just tells him what he's got to do. Hangs up and smiles. This was fantastic. I loved his performance. And then we get to John Cena. And man, now, if you're a wrestling fan, you know a lot of it nowadays especially has to deal with your skills on the microphone. And for what John Cena does on the microphone, when he's bad, but when he's good, he is really good. John Cena has sometimes cut some of the best promos I've ever seen. But I think it's because a lot of it is ad-lib. Here, where he's given a script, his delivery is just so wooden and forced, like he's forcing himself to be the tough guy. It's very noticeable, and it's not very good at all. Just as bad as his performance was, it kind of took me out of the film. And every time I saw him on the screen when he was talking, not when he wasn't doing the action, because the action, like I said, was great. But when he was talking, it just took me out. I'm just like, all right, just get back to Aidan Gillen. I get to the action. That's what I want to see, because like I said, this villain is so charismatic and cool. I love every bit of screen time he's got. And every time John Cena, his wooden performance is just horrible. Horrible. And then there was another character. Eventually, John Cena has to team up with the FBI agents who eventually captured Aidan, but they fucked up, in the beginning, but then they helped capture him. And one of them is played by Steve Harris. And Steve Harris he's the asshole FBI agent who you're going to hate, but once you realize he's such an asshole, halfway through the movie, eventually he's going to have a change of heart and redeem himself, blah, blah, blah. Which he does, but the problem is with this actor Steve Harris, he makes you hate his character so much, by the time he redeems himself, you don't give a shit. And I didn't. I could care less that he turned into, a likable guy by the end of the movie. I didn't care. And the fact that, sorry, spoilers, the fact that he lives, it just disappointed me. I want this fucker dead. So, I was torn. Do I give this a passing grade because of Aidan Gillen and the top-notch action sequences and Renny Harlin? And is John Cena bad enough and fucking Steve Harris bad enough for me to throw this, down in the dumps? I'm going to give it a pass based on the Renny Harlin and based on Aidan Gillen's performance in the action, saying you gotta watch it at least once and then never speak of it again. I did, like I said, whenever Cena was on screen, not doing an action scene, I was losing interest. I tried so hard. When I do these videos, I try to pay attention to them the whole time. But I was so close to, just taking my phone and just checking Facebook, just to keep my interest going on something, because John Cena, you can't act, dude. I'm sorry, when they give you a script, you just can't do it. And this is from a guy who doesn't really hate you. You're oversaturated on WWE, but I can separate that from your film career. And is it better than The Marine? Yes, but that's not saying much. I guess there's 2 sequels. It's one starring Randy Orton and one starring Dean Ambrose. They're not connected to this film at all. So I think I will watch them. especially the third one because I fucking love Dean Ambrose. But in the end, the Marine starring Aidan Gillen and John Cena barely gets a pass from me. This is probably going to be my shortest video review ever because there's not really that much to talk about because it's, like I said, it's Die Hard with a Vengeance, throw in a little bit of Speed, you know, the Keanu Reeves film, and then a bad John Cena promo every 10 minutes, and that's it. So, in the end, 12 rounds, and that's another thing I was going to say. That was another thing I want to talk about. 12 rounds. So, basically, Aidan Gillen is making John Cena go through 12 different things. First off, Aidan Gillen, after he kidnaps the girlfriend and he blows up John Cena's house, he already counts that as 2 rounds. So technically, it should be 10 rounds that Cena has to go through. But even if he goes through 10 rounds, this is like 8 rounds too much. I mean, it just dragged on and on and on in between what he had to do, you know, to get his girlfriend back. So, yeah. 12 rounds. Sorry, I got knocked out at round 5. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, what have you. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, usual shit. That's my kid running up and down. So, yeah, and that is probably more exciting than 12 rounds. So, in the end, cheers, and no go 12 rounds. I don't even know how to fucking end this video, so I'm just going to say cheers, and if you decide to watch this, don't get your hopes up.